And welcome to the Yarn Journey Crochet Podcast. I am Holly, your host. I live in Virginia with my husband, my 2 kids, and a dog and a cat. So welcome. Thank you for returning viewers, and hello to new viewers. This is a crochet podcast where I basically talk about the stuff that I crochet, the yarns I buy, and yeah, some general chit chat at the end. So let's get into it. So this week I didn't get as much done as I would have liked. I didn't get as much done as I would have liked. My daughter ended up getting a fever and having some kind of virus. I don't know what it was because all she had was a fever for like 3 days and then gone, fine. That and there was some other issues that happened this week that drove me bananas. But anyways, I didn't get as much time as I would have liked to crochet, but I do have some things to show you. There are some things that I made absolutely no progress on and probably won't. I mean, I can show you, but we'll see. Okay, so finished objects. I actually have a finished object. So I finished it last night at like 12 o'clock at night because I have been trying to get these Christmas gifts finished and get ready to send out because we only have a little bit of time until Christmas is upon us. And, you know, shipping from Virginia to California, it takes time. So my finished object is my dad's buffalo plaid mat. Now he wanted this for the top of his dresser. So when he comes home, he likes to take his hat off and throw his keys down and empty his pockets. Well, his dresser's starting to take a real beating from that. And this is looking, there we go. Much better. There we go. Now you can see the variations in the reds and stuff. So he wanted a mat to put on his dresser so everything isn't getting beat up. So I made that for him, put a little just single crochet border on it, which some of it's still kind of wonky. It probably needs to be blocked, but I have the time, but I don't have the time, and I don't have like blocking mats. So that is the only finished object that I have this week, unfortunately, because I've just been so busy. So yeah, and the colors for this was Red Heart Super Saver in burgundy, black, and claret, or claret. I'm still not sure how to pronounce it, and I probably never will, unless someone ever tells me, unless someone tells me. So I started a pair of socks. Well, now we're moving on to whips. I started a pair of socks. And this is where I was at last time when I showed you. I was starting the slip stitch ribbing on the cuff to my sock. And yeah. And this is Loops and Threads Kai in Cupcake. And it is blue and white. And the main color I would say is blue. Blue is all throughout, with purple and pinks and a little bit of white, so it's super duper cute. And I am loving this yarn. It is super soft too. That's one thing that I like about it. It's really soft. I love soft yarn. So yeah. There's that one, and then the other one, if I can get it, that I've made absolutely no progress on, which I've decided I am going to frog some of it. So here is the apple of my eye scarf, which I decided will be a pattern once I get it finished. So you have a little sneaky peek pattern. So this, I decided I'm going to frog all this, and because the stitch count is fine, and I know I mentioned like reducing stitch count and stuff like that, and I'm like, ding dong, hello. Just use a smaller hook size. Oops. There we go. Like, just use a smaller hook. If my tension is off, just use a smaller hook. Duh. I don't know why I said reduce stitch count. I don't know. I wasn't thinking apparently. So I think I'm going to frog this, use a smaller hook size for the just plain double crochet, up my size for the mesh, go back down, and then go to the original hook. So these will be on, so the mesh part and the eyelets will all be the same hook size, and then this will go down a hook size. So to keep the stitching even and you won't get this like wonky edge. So yeah, I haven't frogged it just because I've been so busy this week. And that is with the mandala, Lion Brand mandala yarn in Genie, which has this amazing teal color. I'm totally digging it. Next whip is this super duper, I mean, it's not as elaborate as some of my other beanies that I've shown, but I figured because of the yarn, how it is a gradient yarn, that, you know, doing anything super, not super, just doing any kind of design, I think it would be a little bit harder to show up if I was doing like textured stitches. So I love post stitches and basically post stitches. I love front and back post stitches to give, you know, the elaborate textures to it, and I totally dig it. But I felt like with this yarn, it wasn't showing up very well. And it is such a cute little gradient. This is for my niece Haley. And I figured with this, I did top down. Normally I go bottom up, and this time I decided to go top down. And I think it's super cute. And at first I was so worried it was going to be too big, but I tried it on my daughter and it fit her like perfect. So it was a little, it wasn't snug. It fit loosely, which I'm not too worried about as long as it wasn't like huge. So that is what I'm working on, and that is in Cascade's yarn Swaddle. It's 100% polyester, and I know some people are clutch the pearls because it's polyester. But if it's soft and affordable, I'm going to use it. That's just how I am. I go more by the feel of a yarn than I will by fiber content or, you know, mainly if it's soft, I'll use it. And if it's an affordable price, I'll use it. I mean, this was a little more pricey. This is, it was a $10 ball at my local yarn store. And then I got it a while ago, but I have enough in here that I can also make my daughter a beanie. So they're gonna have matching beanies. She saw it and she's like, oh, is that for me? And I said, no, this is for Haley, but we'll get you one. So yeah, this is Cascade Yarn Swaddle in the color 16. There's no names, unfortunately. But yeah, that is my other one. And this will be done by today. So I may show it in the next podcast, but I mean, I'm only going to probably be adding maybe another inch and it's done. I'm not going to do anything super fancy. No, not going to do any slip stitch ribbing for the bottom. I feel like this one, it's going to be fine the way it is. Just a plain old beanie. So I probably won't show this one just because I'll probably have it wrapped up by next week, but this is pretty much the finished thing. I mean, it's going to be maybe about an inch longer, half an inch to an inch longer, and then that's it for this one. Because I am running out of time for Christmas gifts, and I am working so hard to try and finish it, but this last week was so busy. So that's pretty much it for that one, and it is super soft and super lovely. Only thing is, I will say that this kind of yarn is a little bit of a struggle to work with if you rip it out. And I did. I ripped out that beanie 3 times because first it was way too big, then it was way too small, and then it was still a little too big. So I had to rip it out, and then, yeah. So once you start ripping this out, there we go. It can be a pain in the butt because it starts to split. And I mean, it's perfect on the first go around, but if you rip it out, it becomes a challenge to work with for sure. Next step, pot holders. Okay, so there's a little story for this one. I started doing a green and white Fair Isle Tunisian crochet pot holder. That's a mouthful. And this was the result. Super duper cute. Totally love it. Looks like, oh, is that upside down? Nope. It looks like knitting. Like exactly like knitting. It even has the little pearl bumps on the back. So, I mean, I think you get full knitters with this. I mean, I really do. It looks just like knitting to me. And one, I totally adore this because I still have not been able to knit. So finding a way to make a garment look, or make anything really look like knitting, but it's crochet. I'm totally going to use this to make a sweater. But as you can see, this is kind of small. Like it's not even, I mean, it's as big as my hand, which I hadn't blocked this. It's about as big as my hand, but it's not as big as a pot holder should be. So I decided I'll just keep this little swatch because I love the design first off. I'll use this as like a little coaster at home or something because I really have no use for it and I'm not going to send her just this. That makes no sense. So I'll just use that as like a little coaster here at my desk. Sorry, my hair is driving me bananas. But so I had to do a larger version. Oh, and if you were wondering, this is Paint Box Yarns Simply DK, and the white is champagne white, and then the green was, oh no, what was it? I don't remember. I will be putting up show notes on Ravelry. I do every podcast. It will be in the podcast show notes on Ravelry in the group, the Yarn Journey Crochet Podcast group on Ravelry. So everything will be in there. So if I forget it here, if not, it'll be on the screen. Like I'll pop it in some little subtitles for you. Next, so instead of doing that, I had to make it bigger, which now it is like double the size, and basically it's going to be a giant pot holder. Still doing the same design, but like it's rolling really bad because it rolls just like the real knit stitch. So I haven't made very much progress on it, but as you can see, you know, it still's got those little arrows, and I'm working right here. It's going to be that little diamond shape, and then that's the bottom of the star right there. This is also Paint Box Yarns. The white is Aran weight yarn, which actually works out better because as you can see, you get more of a consistent look with this. There we go. It looks more consistent to me, and it's not as gappy because I'm still working on my tension with Tunisian crochet. So having the white be a little bit bigger is actually making the design come out look, okay, hold on. Having a thicker yarn for the design part is making the design stand out more and come through clearer, where in this one, it's very, I mean, obviously you can see that those are arrows, but like this diamond shape, because there's so many little gaps in between the white, it's a little hard to make out. So with this being an Aran weight yarn and the red being a DK weight, I feel like the design is just coming out way prettier. So this is going, obviously you can see this is going to be a giant pot holder. It's bigger than my face. But I think it's going to be really good because she likes the big ones for big pots and like casserole dishes and stuff like that. So this will come in handy. Yes, it is acrylic, and you're supposed to use cotton with pot holders, but she doesn't put stuff that's piping hot onto them. She lets them cool for a minute and then she puts them on the pot holder. So, and the other acrylics ones that I've used in the past, she's never had an issue with. So yeah, that is it for whips and finished objects. But I did go and buy some yarn. Kind of went a little bit on a yarn shopping spree. Some of it is in the mail, and we'll talk about that stuff on the next podcast. But I will tell you that Knit Picks is having a sale, and that's where I got it. I don't know if the sale is still going on. I hope it is for you guys, because you can get wool for $1, $3, or $5 a skein, which, hello, that is crazy cheap for wool. Especially with it being 100% wool. And the $5 skeins that I did buy, they were 100% superwash merino wool too. So super nice stuff for $5. Like, they're having crazy sales right now, but it is sock yarn, so it is a fingering weight, or a light fingering weight. But I'm super excited to get that in the mail, and I should be getting it tomorrow or Tuesday. But anyways, back to the stuff that I have that I bought at the store. So I had to run to Joann's and get yarn because someone ordered some made-to-order shawls for me. So I had to go and buy some yarn in the color that I didn't have. I had some more cappuccino yarn to make it, but I needed to get the bistro color way, and I will tell you right now that, oop, I just showed it to you. Oh, it's not a surprise anymore. I've never seen speckled yarn before that I know of. Maybe I've walked right past it and haven't seen it, but I have never seen speckled yarn in a big box store. You know, like a big craft store, like Michael's or Joann or AC Moore or Hobby Lobby. I've never seen it. Oh, hair. So, I found this. What? It is the cutest speckled yarn, and there were like 6 other, oh, well, there's 4 others that were colors, like multicolored speckles, and then there was 3 that were single colors, like tonals. There was a denim-y blue, and then a light red and gray color. And oh my god, I love this. It is so pretty. It is 100% acrylic. It isn't super duper soft, but I could not get over the fact that this is a speckled yarn at Joann. Like, oh my gosh. So, honestly, I can't even remember how much I paid for it. I didn't even care at that point. I was like, I'm getting it. I get a 20% off discount because they have a coupon. I'm getting it. Whatever. So it's Big Twist yarn in Sincerely, 100% acrylic. Look at those speckles. I mean, seriously. How freaking cute. Ooh, I'm shaking. I'm just in love with this, and I cannot wait to crochet this up because I love speckles, and I'm trying to figure out how to Tunisian crochet in the round so I can make beanies that look like knitting. Only problem is you either need double-ended hooks to do that, because obviously you can't crochet in the round with this big long hook. Like, it doesn't bend, it's not flexible. So you either need double-ended hooks, or they have like an interchangeable crochet hook with the long tubes that you see for like knitting. Only problem is it's like $50 for that. And I'm like, I don't know if I can justify spending $50 on a crochet hook with a plastic tube on it. So I'm going for the double-ended hooks, and you can get a set, an entire set of like 2.0 to 10 for like $14.99 on Amazon. So, and I think they were bamboo. So I'm gonna get that, hopefully. I put it on my Christmas list to my husband. I'm like, I would love that. Yeah. So I'm really hoping that I get those double-ended hooks because I really want to do this in like the stockinette type knit stitch pattern because I think it's going to be super duper pretty. Or make socks. Oh my gosh, I'd love to make socks out of these. That'd be super duper cute. Even crocheting them. Oh my gosh. Okay, I'm in love. So I'm just going to pop that up there and you can stare at its beautifulness. The next one, I was at Walmart with my husband, and I normally don't buy my yarn from Walmart just because if I'm buying yarn, I normally go to the big box store and they already have Red Heart there. But my husband was looking to do his oil change, so he was there looking up oil and what type he needed and the filter and all that good stuff. Good, fun stuff. So he was taking forever. And I was like, I'm going to go up to the craft section and look at the yarn. And that's exactly what I did. And I found this bad boy. These are the Super Saver stripes. They need to make a smaller ball band because it's so loose. This is in the colorway Polo Stripes, if you can see that. There we go. Look at this coloring. Oh my gosh. Like, I tried filming this yesterday and I could like not focus. I couldn't get my sentences out right. My dog kept barking, wanting out. I had to stop several times. And now that I'm redoing this color is coming out pretty darn accurate today. And I totally love it. It's like these bright jewel tones of, I mean, it's a little muted on the computer, but I mean, it's pretty dang close. It's like these super gorgeous jewel tones of green and purple and dark pinks and blues. It's amazing. I don't know what I'm going to do with these. Maybe on here it shows a scarf. It's actually a pretty cute scarf. I mean, look at that. So I'm assuming, let's see if it's on the ball band or if it's, I'll just rip it. There we go. Jazzy striping scarf. Easy. So yeah. Right there on the yarn label. So, alright. There you go. If you buy it and it has that on there, it's right on the ball band for you. I'll just kind of stick it back together. Pop my arm back in. There we go. So yeah, I saw this and I was like, holy cannoli, this is so pretty. And they have several other colors, but I only got these ones. Like, oh my, okay, so maybe you could see these pinks. Look at how beautiful that pink is. Like, holy cow, how gorgeous is that? It's like a bright magenta, fuchsia, like, oh my gosh, I don't even know. It's gorgeous. And I love it. And you know, I was saying in the last podcast that Red Heart tends to be a little bit harder to work with because of it, but this doesn't feel as rough as the normal Super Saver. Like, I feel like the reds are the rough ones to work with because the black wasn't that bad, and I feel like these don't feel as rough. I feel like the reds, maybe it's just the dye that makes them a little bit rougher. I don't know, but yeah, the reds are a little rough to work with. So that is my other yarn. And I'll put that there so you can see those. Now, here is my more expensive purchase. I went to my yarn shop and I got myself some, well, it wasn't really that expensive. I mean, it's a decent price. I got myself some Cascade yarn 220 Superwash Sport Multis. So this is 100% Superwash Merino wool. And this is the first time I've actually had merino wool, especially Superwash. And this is the color. They winded it into a little ball or cake. I'm not sure what people call these. I've heard them called balls. Excuse me. I've heard them called cakes. Yeah, this is totally my colors. I tend to wear a lot of dark colors, so blacks, grays, occasionally white, dark reds, purples, you know. I don't wear a lot of brights. Like I'm wearing, there's like light muted pink in this, but that's about it. So yeah, I am totally in love with this color. I have no idea what I'm going to do with it yet. Yeah, I don't know. So I am totally loving this, and it's my first superwash merino. This is, what weight is this? It says to use a US 5 or 6, which I never go by the letters on them, ever, because I don't like how with some brands, an H, right? US 5 or 6. See, okay, so that's knitting needles, because the knitting needles go by the numbers, US 5 or 6, 7, 8, whatever, where crochet hooks go by letters, and I think an H is a 5, but an H can also be a 5.25 and 5.5, a 5.75, and I can't stand that. So I always go by the millimeters because it just makes more sense to me. So I don't understand the letter system of crochet hooks or the number system of knitting needles. Like, just say the millimeters that you're using. It just makes more sense. That way everyone can have a consistent work. Everyone can have the exact needle size, you know, that they need. Just makes more sense to me to use the actual like millimeters on the crochet hook instead of a 5 or an H or a G. I don't know. Like, this is a 7 millimeter, which technically, where is it? Like, if you can see it, boop, 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 7 millimeter. This has no letter. A 7 millimeter crochet hook has no letter. So I don't know. It's just confusing to me, and I don't understand it. So I use millimeters always. And that is pretty much all I bought. This is, you know, I didn't, like I said, I didn't unfortunately get a lot of crocheting done this week. And let me just, whoop. They were so smart, and they were like, oh yeah, we'll just put the little tag right in the center. I'm sorry, I don't know why I'm getting this scratchiness. So we'll pop these little guys right there. So they popped the little tag in the center, and I'm like, that is so smart. Then I don't lose it. It's there, and I'll just use it from the outside, because I know a lot of people like pulling from the center because it's neater and you don't have to worry about your ball or your skein rolling around on you. But I like pulling from the outside, because if I don't use an entire skein or ball or cake or whatever, I feel like it's neater to put away if you work from the outside in, because it's already in a tighter ball or skein, you know what I mean. It's already in the tighter wound position, so it's easier to put away. And I feel like once you work from the inside out, it gets looser and looser and looser as you're pulling more and more out. And you have to rewind the ball yourself when you're done if you have leftovers. Like, I had leftovers from my dad or my grandpa's C2C lapgan, and I had to basically rewind all this because I went from the inside out. And I don't know. I prefer going from the outside in. I guess it just depends on my mood. If I can, I don't know. I'm all over the place. I'm just all over the place, basically. Yeah, so that's basically it. I guess for a little chit chat, I had issue with, my husband is a Marine, so I get a dependents military ID, and my husband forgot to tell me, and I didn't notice that it expired. So they took it from me, and I couldn't get on base to go grocery shopping, and I could not get on base to take my daughter to her doctor's appointment. So I had to steal my husband from work so he could take my daughter to the doctors. So yeah, and then there was a whole issue with picture IDs because I have a temporary from California because I lost it. And I had to go get a new one from the state, which came in the mail yesterday, thank goodness. So I can go get a new military ID on Tuesday because my husband has a early morning meeting on Monday. So yeah, it was a rough week. We had our ups and downs, and a lot of downs. It seems like when it rains, it pours and everything goes wrong. But, yeah, crocheting took another back seat this week, but hopefully, or last week, hopefully this coming week, I will have a lot more stuff to show you. Hopefully I will have, pot holder finished. Like I said, that beanie's almost done, so I'm probably not going to show it next week because I'll probably have it wrapped up and ready to ship to California. Maybe I'll show you the virus shawl that someone commissioned from me. I'll show you that, and hopefully you'll like it. Yeah, but I have a lot of projects I want to get done. So I will let you all go so you can go about your day if you're even still watching. That way everyone can go and do their thing on this lovely Sunday. And I hope you enjoy your morning, afternoon, night, evening, whatever time it is when you watch this. And I hope you guys have a lovely week and happy crocheting. Bye.